yesterday we have solved this problem. Okay, solve this model. It is very simple model having only one item with one construct. Okay, but if the model is like this, there's the model. Okay, if the model is like this, so here we have the variable having more items. So these are the items, we have the variables. Together we call it as a construct. We call it as latent variable construct. Okay. So if it is the latent variable construct, so how do we, run the, or the, how can we calculate the relationship? Okay. Moreover, we need to understand the objective of the model. Okay. So this model, it has 1, 2, 3, 4 independent variables and 1 dependent variable. So the objective might be to identify the factors influencing cloud computing adoption. Okay, cloud computing adoption. Factors determining cloud computing adoption. Factor affecting cloud computing adoption. So we can imagine the objective. Okay, so it is cloud computing adoption, and there are 4 independent variables like this. This one is complexity, this one is relative advantage, top management support, perceived risk. Okay, perceived risk. So for example, this one, top management support and cloud computing, what might be the hypothesis? If top management support is positive, then it will have a positive impact on cloud computing adoption. Okay, that might be the hypothesis. So right now we don't have the hypothesis. Okay, so let's see how can we write the hypothesis and how can we write a paper. So that's why we have come up with a model paper, and we try to replicate this model paper. Okay, so let me share the model paper. Okay, this one. So testing a confirmatory model of Facebook uses in SmartPLS using consistent PLS. Okay, Facebook uses in SmartPLS. So they try to test a model. So let's see the model first. Okay. Okay, this one. A perceived ease of use, perceived enjoyment, and perceived usefulness. It linked to Facebook uses. So that's the model they want to test. And if you understand, if you want to, what is perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, then we need to see what about the definitions given by TAM, Technology Acceptance Model. So they have taken a model, okay, to explain this relationship. Okay, now we have questions like, why should we I adopt a theoretical model, like they have adopted technology acceptance model as a theoretical model to justify their relationship. Okay, so they basically simply copied, or we can say adopted, adopted the meaning of adoption without change.
All the variables are taken from this theory.
Yeah, without any change, they have simply adopted the TEM model. So they didn't change anything into this model. So the model is like this: perceived ease of use, perceived enjoyment, perceived usefulness, and here a little bit change. I see little bit change in the model. It was not Facebook users. It was simply a technology use. Okay, original model, technology use. So they simply they just bring a change on dependent variable. Okay, they just renamed the technology users with the Facebook users. So that's the change they have brought. Now the question is, why should we take or adopt or hire a theoretical model? So this is a very generic question. Even this is a very basic question for the for any PhD student who has developed their conceptual framework. Okay, this is a very generic question. I mean, if you are a PhD student or you are thinking about starting your PhD, then keep it in mind that you will face, this kind of question from your examiners or your supervisors. That what is your underpinning theoretical model or theoretical framework? So these sort of questions actually is very common in research. Okay. Now the question is, why should we take the theoretical model? So the answer is very simple. Suppose we have a relationship here, right? Perceived use, ease of use, and Facebook uses. We have a relationship. We see it is independent and this one is dependent. Okay. So now the question might be arise that why not? The Facebook users comes first and perceived ease of use comes next. Why we cannot think about reverse relationship? Okay, imagine Facebook users is here and perceived users usefulness as a dependent variable. So the answer is it logical? Okay, so if it relationship is logical or not. Sometimes we draw or we design or we structure a relationship that might not be logical. Maybe it seems logical from my understanding, but neutrally, or if you place it to another expert, okay, then he can figure out that, oh, relationship. Okay. So the question is, we have shown a model, cloud computing adoption. Okay. So in cloud computing adoption, we see there are 4 variables. Okay. Here we see another kind of model. It has only 3 variables. So if the question is, can I adopt selected? Can I take or choose only the selected variables from the model? Okay, so the answer is you need to have justifications. If you choose selected variables, you need to have justifications. In most of the cases, if the context is very different, if my context is very different, so in that case, I may not have the theoretical justifications. Okay, I may not have direct theoretical justifications. So in that case, I have to, identify the variables from literature review. Okay, then I need to justify its relationship from theories or from previous studies, or if there is no previous study or any theoretical justification, in that case I have to justify by placing my argument that trying to prove that this relationship is logical, is rational. That's the idea. Okay, so if it is a very related topic, your context is very relevant with the theoretical model, okay, then better you adopt one particular framework, and then you can add another variable to to create a more contribution in the literature. So you will find mostly this kind of practice. Okay, they take a variable, the framework from the theory, and they put one or two variables, okay, like mediator, moderator, or even independent variables, so into the framework. Then they try to justify the new variable with a kind of theoretical or previous studies. So
আমরা যখন আমি নতুন মডেল যেটা ডেভেলপ করব, ওখানে কি কনসেপচুয়াল ফ্রেমওয়ার্ক লিখতে হবে বা এই ধরনের কিছু?
Okay, nice. So now we see we have different models. So we have theoretical model, we have conceptual model, and we have research model. Okay, right, we have three kind of models. Now if you present the figure from the theory as it is, okay, from the theory, so you just put a theoretical model, okay, under the image. Okay, your title would be theoretical model. If you present the figure from the theory, okay, you didn't bring any change, you just simply copy the image from the theory, okay, then it is your theoretical model. Okay, now you have developed one variable, or you have changed the name of the variable. Okay, for example, this one, you see they have bring a change in the dependent variable. They renamed it as Facebook uses, right? And definitely they have to change the questionnaire also. Okay, so that this question address the Facebook users, not a generic technology. Okay, Facebook, specifically Facebook users. Okay, so they have brought changes in the variable name as well as in the questionnaire. Okay, so in that case they have brought some changes, and that become part of their research model. Okay, because they are going to test this model. Okay, so now what's the difference between a research model and conceptual model, right? So we understand the difference between the theoretical model and research model. So now what is the change? What's the difference? between research model and conceptual model. Okay, the difference is very simple. If the same model, okay, the same research model can be used as a conceptual model if your paper didn't go further after the method part. Okay, means you haven't tested the model empirically. Okay, you haven't tested the model empirically, meaning you didn't collect data and you didn't present the analysis part. So you have developed the research paper up to, methodology section. So up to method section. So in that case, the same model can be treated as your conceptual model. Is it clear?
নেটওয়ার্কের কারণে একটু কেটে গেছিল কথা, যে আমি যদি কনসেপচুয়াল মডেলের ক্ষেত্রে যাই, সেক্ষেত্রে আমি রিসার্চ মডেল থেকে বা যেখানে একটা ভেরিয়েবল চেঞ্জ হলো, আমি যদি এটা এমপিরিক্যালি শো করব, মানে মেথড পার্টে গিয়ে এটা আমি ডেটা কালেকশনের পর এখানে অ্যানালাইজিং এর বিষয়গুলো ডিসকাস করব, এমন কিছু ভাইয়া?